Okay guys, the Suburban has been out of commission. I haven't driven it in about a week. Waiting on the radiator to come in. It's radiator had a slight little leak to it. I thought it was the hose at first. Well, the hose was loose, so I tightened the hose clamp up. I replaced the hose clamp, and come to find out, it was leaking in a different area on the driver's side. You know, not from this hose, but down at the bottom. And I'll show you guys in detail the leak. It leaked out everything, and to keep from ruining the motor, it's best not to even drive the vehicle until the new part come in. So the new radiator has arrived, and we're about to swap all this stuff out really quickly. I'll show you guys in extreme detail. We're filming in 4K, so you guys can see every single detail of how we're going to change this out really quickly. Fairly simple, easy job. It really is. It requires minimal tools. That's why I put out. So before we do anything, let me show you guys exactly where it's leaking from. We're gonna fill this up with water. Okay, we're gonna start it. I don't want it to run too long because I don't want it to get hot since I'm about to swap this radiator out. So it should start leaking pretty quickly once I start it. So we're underneath the vehicle. You guys can see us run down on the frame, but it's coming from underneath the radiator in this vicinity. It's running along their channel and leaking all the way through out here. The bottom of the radiator is where's the leak at. So I guess we're identified once we remove it. Okay guys, so we're cooled off now. We're in the location. I'm gonna swap it out. I think the first thing you want to get before you start is a catch pan for the antifreeze that's going to leak out. If you have any. I don't have any antifreeze anymore. It's all water from the demonstration, so we don't have to worry about that. But get a catch pan, and then we're going to start disassembling this thing. Let me show you guys the radiator, how it comes. This is the box. Remember, this comes with the transmission cooler and oil cooler. Your truck may don't have the oil cooler, but it will have the transmission cooler lines. And you guys can see the transmission cooler lines there. Oil cooler lines are a little bit bigger, but this is how it comes in a box. Secure. You don't have to worry about it being damaged when you receive it. This is the exact radiator. Has all the parts there. So let's take care of this really quickly, guys. Really quickly. So let's get some trim tools. I believe these are 13mm. Flathead screwdriver just in case we need it. We want to move the air duct out of our way, so some 8mm. There. Just to get out of our way. We may remove this top. Or we may remove this air box. It just pops out of here. We don't have to worry about moving these Torx bolts. So we just pop this whole thing out of our way so we can be clear. Have the reservoir in our face, so we can remove everything nice and neatly. Get some wire ties. We can tie these hoses back out of our way. Just trying to plan ahead, guys. But this is going to be quick and fast and perfectly installed. All right, guys. Very first thing we're going to do is pop this cover off. Move the air duct next. Pop the cover off first. Super easy. Let's do this stuff. Okay guys, watch my hand. Put one hand here, and the other hand on there, and watch how I maneuver my hand. Me mount the camera so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So you can pop this right up. You see these posts? These 1, 2. Remember, look at the orientation. This is the front. That's this one post, second post, and this plastic retainer. One post, two posts. These are rubber grommets. Plastic retainer sits here. So now that that's out of the way, the next thing we're going to do, let's pull bottom radiator hose off. Let's get it out of our way. You guys can see I have a clamp on it. I have the clamp facing the opposite way because I did it from the bottom. You guys can see that. This is not the clamp that's designed for these. These are the clamps that should be on here, locking clamps. I'll show you a better example of one, but the other clamp I had was bad. So this is what should be on. These clamps lock in place. So that's what will be on your vehicle unless you replace it like mine. So now that I can face the clamp the right way, I'll face the clamp up and I'll tighten it from the top part. Now, so let me get out of here and remove this clamp. So I can come under the vehicle, pull the wheel well cover back, and there goes my clamp. I can just put the 8mm on it and just screw it on. So now that we got that loose, we're gonna work our way on down. From here on down, we're gonna work our way on down. Got this flap, covered it, fold this back out of our way. And it's sunny and beautiful out, but we're gonna have extra light so you guys can see everything. So let's get this hose first. I don't have to use the clamp tool with this one. We'll just use some regular channel locks. We'll use these. It's only water. That's why I did this. Let it nourish the earth. It's only water in this radiator. We will get a catch pan under there because these are transmission lines. So we want the transmission fluid to be caught. We don't want it leaking on the ground. So let me get us a pail and we're gonna catch that transmission fluid. By the time I get that, this should have leaked all out. Or we speed up the process just by pulling this bottom radiator hose off. It's already filled with water. Let it run out. Fresh, clean water. So, in your case, you're probably gonna have antifreeze in the line. Make sure you got a nice size catch pail down there before you drain it. This thing has been filled with water. You guys can see it's like the river. So our very next thing we're gonna do, we'll get a catch pan, but there's some clips that hold these in place. Got quite a few videos on my channel how to remove these. Just pull this plastic piece back. Just need a pick tool to pick it out. So we're gonna get a pick tool. This is an angle one. This will work perfect. Get it out. One of these will work. But I'm just gonna go with something standard, probably like this. Or something with an angle like this. So we'll take these two. We're gonna get down in there and let you guys see exactly how it comes out. Put our hand right there, keep it from falling. And just pull it out. Oh, it fell. So this is what it looks like. So to get the bottom one, you have to do this on both sides. Same process. Move that plastic thing. I'm gonna mount the camera, guys. You can see this, and we'll use this one since it's more on a curved angle. We'll use this one to pick it out down there. But this is how it looks. Put it over to the side. Okay, let's get this hose that comes from the intake. This runs to the intake. Same kind of clamp on it. Let's get that right now. Before we remove that hose, look at the orientation. It goes underneath the top transmission line, goes inside of it. It doesn't go around it, so make sure you note that. You want to put everything back like it was. Connects here, and that's it right there. Just set that out of our way. All right. This side pretty much done. Let's get these transmission lines moved. Let me get a pail on there first. Cash pail. Right under there. Guys, I will be using power tools, although I'm a hand tool guy. I like to use my hands. I like to ratchet things. That's what I learned with as a kid. But due to filming purposes and making a video quick, I'm gonna use some power tools to get this zipped off. So when we move these lines, they're held in by two 10mm bolts. So what we're doing, guys, here is working from the left side, the passenger side, if I'm facing the vehicle, my left side, but we're working from the left, and the driver's side, if you're sitting in the passenger seat, it's the right side, but we're working from the left side as we face this vehicle to the right side. So we're removing all of this stuff and then working our way over to that side and finishing up. Then we'll do it vice versa, where we'll install that way and come over here and finish out. But two lines, 10mm bolts. There's one. The other one's just about there. I'll show you guys. Remember, 10mm. All right, let's remove these lines, but if you look right here, guys, there's a metal retainer that holds the bolt into the bracket. You see that metal retainer? It's on this one, but this one pulled right through. It keeps the screw from coming out of this bracket or this brace. So let's pull the lines out. Just want to note that, but this one came out. Let's pull the lines out and move, work our way to the other side. You guys can see we're leaking. So we'll have to top the transmission fluid off. Won't be much, but we're leaking, so you want to leave that there. That'll leak out. Make sure you don't leak on the ground. All right, very next thing we're gonna do, since we're working our way over, there's a retainer here, a plastic retainer here. It's one of these. You can take our trim tool, go underneath here, pop it up. See the hose, guys? So, although we have to remove the hose from here, we're gonna tie this hose back to the belt with a wide tie. And I'll show you guys that in a second. Get this out of our way. I got it right here. So just don't damage the plug, but it's holding in place right there for the throttle body. We don't need no throttle body issues. By the way, I got a video on my channel on how to replace this OEM throttle body as well. It's doing really well. That's out of our way. Of course, you got oil cooler lines over here. So when that pail, we can't remove this top hose until the pail. You know what? Let's work our way. We forgot something. Let's get over here. Since we are working our way from here on over there, even though we just removed that retainer to hold this to hold the hose in the middle here, let's remove this 13 millimeter. This is the radiator. That was the radiator for the radiator. So let's get this one now. Like I said, since we are working our way over to the other side, let's just remove the fan shroud. This is the fan shroud. This is the radiator. All right, let's work our way to the other side. So fan shroud bolts are removed. Fan shroud, radiator bolt is removed. Here they both are same size. You can't mix them up. The only thing difference is the radiator had a little rust on it. The fan shroud washer, not that much rust. So same size bolts. You don't have to worry about messing them up. So since we're done completely with this side, the next thing on this side we'll be doing is raising this fan shroud out and lifting the radiator out as well. So let's go to the other side and complete that. We'll leave this radiator bolt in to give us some stability to remove these oil cooler lines. So the next thing we're gonna do is remove this top radiator hose. We have to remove some plugs from out the fan. Super easy. And there's by this is equipped with the oil cooler lines. The oil cooler is attached to this as well via those that plastic bracket there. So we remove the oil lines out that bracket once we get them removed. Super easy to remove. Let me spin it around so I can show y'all how to remove it. See, it's locked. What I did was get the screwdriver in there. Like so. That's out of our way. Let's unplug both of these now, since I'm just gonna push down on those tabs and pull them out. Okay, our pan's done dripping. We're just dripping water now. That's it. Slide our pan over. Same clip, a little bit larger. This radiator may have been changed before. I bought this vehicle about 2 years now, and I noticed, look it down there, that's the plastic pieces that cover these. You're wondering why these don't have the cover, the black covers to keep those clamps secure, is because they're down there. I'm just not noticing that. There they are, they are both of them. So we'll put them back in place. Whoever, the previous owner did some work to this vehicle and then put them back. So let's pop this last one out and remove these lines. We'll put those back though, as they should have been put back the first time. We'll get it. Let's pull these lines out. We're gonna leak. All right, we're both out. All right, so we got this line back. We're both out. We're leaking a little bit of oil. It's fine. So let's take the fan shroud out and get it out of our way. It's held on into place with these slots right here. It just pulls up. Watch this. See how it pulls up out of the slots? It just bolts on here. So very simple. Let's pull this fan shroud out of our way, and then we'll unbolt the radiator, snatch him on out, and replace it. Like I said, very, very simple job. I got some cutting pliers or some snips. Okay guys, here's the old radiator, the new. Everything's pretty much the same. Let's come some new clips. Got some new locking clips in there. You gotta remove those. Let's see over here. New clips over here as well. So I'm gonna pick those out real quick. I don't see any visual signs of leaking. We're gonna need these. We can set these back. You can actually set these on here. They may fall off, so we'll just set them in the slot on the truck. Let me show you guys what they're doing. So we'll leave them right there. Let's get the other one. Yeah, but I don't see a visual signs of damage at all underneath here. I don't see a visual crack in the plastic, but we know it's leaking, so we're swapping it out. Let me remove these clips. Let's remove all these plastic caps. As you see, there's new O-rings in those fittings. So let me remove these clips. You guys can see how those clips work and lock the line in place. Same here. Same design. Locks that line in place. All right, move these clips and let's reinstall this thing. All right, clips. Fraction of a second to remove. I want to note these slots are the same sizes all the way around. There's 3 slots, so it doesn't matter what angle you put these clips in, they're gonna pop in place. Same as these 3 slots. There's the same size opening. Doesn't matter. So let's put these clips aside. Let's remove this. Let's get the radiator installed. Okay, guys. I want to note something before we install the radiator. Look at this. I don't know why they didn't do this. Why they didn't design a drain valve in this radiator or petcock. However, this one has one. Make sure that it's tightened down. Just give a firm snug on it. Make sure it's tightened up. We want no leaks. But I'm not sure why GM didn't do it from the factory. Which will allow us to drain this radiator by dumping antifreeze all over the place. Okay, now just want to note that. Let's install this bad boy. All right, guys. Once we're in there in our slots, get a bolt started, tighten it down, and now we can work. So let's make it a little easier for ourselves because the fan shroud does allow a little bulk in here, and it won't be in our way once we install that bottom radiator hose. So let's do that first. And we also can get maybe one of these lines, the bottom lines. So let's install the bottom radiator hose. Since we got so much room to work with, let's just install that right now. All right, this is on. Steal some plate and it get out of our way. When we set the fan shroud in, we'll put this in last because we can't reach this clip. There's a special tool that allows you to put those clips inside of these, those retainer clips inside of these slots. But I can't find it, and I got it, guys. So I'm using this snap ring set. So what I'm doing is locking them in place because they stay. You guys can see the spring opens them up, so I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm going to come in like this. I'll grab them and I'll open them like so and put them on there using these. But these are for snap rings, not this, but this works perfect. We can get away with installing the lower hose because it won't be in our way from the fan shroud neither, and the fan shroud is out of our way. We have a lot of space, so let's install this now. I'm running out of camera space. This is self-explanatory going in, but I will have the camera just running as I do everything. It's the same as if we're removing it, just going in a reverse pattern. So let's install this one, and then we can set the fan shroud in here and start assembling everything, plug the fan up, etc. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'll set the camera up. Okay, this side is done. Hose tap on. Both lines are secure. Fan is plugged up. Lines are sitting in that plastic bracket. Secure. Now let's get to the other side. I'll close this thing up. Can fasten this down right now. Just push it in that hole. That's secure. All right, let's get to the other side, close this thing out. Okay, this side is completely done. If there are torque specs for this, guys, I'll show you guys. You know, I've done this quite a few times. So if there are torque specs, I'll put them in the description box, or I'll flash them across the screen now. I got the book for this thing. I don't know if it shows torque specs though, but I got the book for it, and I'll show you guys the book. I'll show you guys the book before we close the video out. As promised, guys, here's the book. Shows you about the radiator, how to remove it, everything. It shows you a special tool. Let me flip the page. These books nowadays don't show too much or nothing, but it shows you a special tool. Here is installation. It's reversal removal, but to tighten the bolts to the torque, that's all I use these books for, is torque specs. You guys can see it says in the chapter specifications. Now let's turn to that. All right, here's the chapter specifications. So it only has torque specs for the radiator mounting bolts, 18 foot-pounds. You guys can see, and it shows cooling capacity. See chapter 1. Go over to chapter 1. Cooling capacity. All right, there we go. So I guess the next thing is to install the air filter box, mass airflow sensor, air duct to the throttle body, and then add coolant. Oh, for the record, this top just been sitting on here. Should have showed that. It's just been sitting on here. You want it to remove it, or just leave it up here like this without being tightened down, so when you are draining the fluid, it will be, the fluid will flow much quicker once this is getting air. It's also a good time to inspect your air filter. I'm gonna need one replaced soon. You can actually plug up the air mass flow sensor now. That's plugged up. Now let's get the rest of the air duct in place to the throttle body and add some coolant to this thing. Okay, inspect everything. It's back perfectly installed. All right, let's pop the cover on and add some antifreeze and wrap this video up. Okay, let's got this thing drinking. We at the top. Let's start it up. Let some of this air come out the line and top it off. First, also checks for visual leaks. Nothing. When you pour a little bit in there, guys, when you pour about a half a gallon, check for leaks. I'm just extremely confident in my work. So that's why I didn't stop. But let's start this thing up. I paused it right here, guys. Just want to show you guys that we're not leaking any coolant or oil transmission fluid. But I want to note that you guys hear the exhaust leak on the driver's side. It's getting worse. It's from the exhaust manifold. I'm going to put new manifolds on this thing, so that video will be coming soon. I'm going to replace the gaskets and the manifolds on both sides. Guys, I want to note this very important step. I didn't put emphasis on it as I should have. This is a very important step, otherwise the vehicle will overheat. Let the vehicle run about 20 minutes with the top barely screwed on. Do not fill the reservoir all the way up. Just keep it where it's visible, where you can see the coolant inside the reservoir. But the goal is to let all the air out the system. Just let it run, because if you do fill it up and while it's running and getting hot, it will overflow. So you want to keep the coolant towards the bottom of that reservoir and let it run for about maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes max, 20 minutes. As you see, I just set the top up here. Let the air come out of the line, and then top it all the way off. So about 20 minutes and you'll be fine. Let me show you guys a little bit better what I'm talking about. Once you add antifreeze and it gets about, you want to get it about right here, just about right there in this area, a little bit over that crease. See that crease in the reservoir? Just a little bit over that crease. Next, take the cap, put the cap on, screw it a couple times. You want it to be loose like this, but you don't want it to shoot off, but leave it loose like so. You want to have a lot of play in it so the trapped air can release. Start the vehicle. Let the vehicle run for about 30 minutes. All the air pushed out the lines, and then I was able to fill it with coolant. You may get some overflow, which is normal because the air pushing out. But let it run for about 30 minutes, and should be all good. You should be able to fill it, and your temperature hand should be perfect. If you don't do this, if you close this off, if you fill this up and close this off, you'll get sporadic temperature increases on the gauge. The gauge will go way hot. The fan will constantly come on because the engine is hot because there's air trapped in the lines. If you do fill it up and you do it like this, you will get some antifreeze spraying all over the place. So try to keep it low here and release that trapped air out the line, and then fill it, top it off, tighten it up, and you're all good. That's it, just that simple. Alright guys, I'll drive it around before I top it off, before I top the little transmission fluid that leaked out and a little oil that leaked out. I'll drive it around for a little bit before I top those off to see how much I need, and no leaks, of course, very confident in my work. It's a wrap for this video guys. Hope you guys found it helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Terrence and I'm out.